to show you something a little more complicated now. This is a mail message that contains 4 separate elements outside of just the body of text. Rich Page has sent me this, and he sent me a layout, possibly of a newsletter, some text from a word processor, and that's these 2 up here. And this right here is the document icon from an application called TouchType, which is a really marvelous application that typesetters love because it allows you to perfectly kern headlines. This down here is a TIFF color photograph. These 4 documents and photographs came in the same mail message, but they could have come in 4 separate mail messages from 4 different people on 4 different continents. Now the first one, which I've brought up by simply double-clicking on it, is that frame document. And the frame document here might have come from my graphic arts department, and this is the layout for my magazine. So I'll select the headline here and go over here and simply drag this document from TouchType right in, and it will image it right in the border of my newsletter. And I'll go over here and select the body copy, and I'll go grab my text and here, and it will be dropped into Frame, and Frame is asking me whether I want to treat line endings as paragraphs, and I say sure. So it drops the text in, and then I'll go select the photograph here, and I'll go simply click on this photograph, and an EPS icon will pop up. This is an encapsulated PostScript format picture, and I simply drag it out of the window, just like the originator, Rich, dragged it in, and I drop it here in Frame, and it images right in Frame. And I can go over here and say I don't want to view my borders, and it'll take away the borders. And I'm not aware of any other system in the world that will do this. The seamless integration between 4 applications that we've seen here, none of them knowing anything about the other one. An application that does special kerning on headline text, a word processor that created the body copy, a photograph scanned by some application, just simply dragged in to our 4th application, which is Frame, containing all of the other 3. Again, none of these applications know anything about the others. And I'm not, again, aware of any other system that would let you do this. So we'll quit FrameMaker here. Now we'll go to another really interesting one, Gary Moore. Gary has sent me a voicemail message, so let's hear what he has to say.
Steve, I'm in a rush now, but I wanted to let you know that we now have some Supreme Court decisions online, thanks to Project Hermes. If you look in my home directory, I'm on the legal server, you will find the cases. Just message the digital librarian and you can examine them.
Well, this was quite a bit here. Gary told us to go onto the legal server, which is on the network, and go into his home directory, the place where he has all his files, and take a look at a file he's got, which is a folder containing all of the Supreme Court decisions, I think, between 1987 and 1990, and then to message the digital librarian and take a look at some of the cases. So let's go find out what this all means. We go to our file viewer here, which is the way we navigate around our system, and we go to our basic system, which is a next dimension color system, and here's our home directory down here. This is what's inside our home directory. Here's all my files here that I'm using to do this demo with. And I'll go back to the system because here's something else I want. Whenever I want to go out over the network, I simply click on the net icon, which is a globe, and it shows me everything on the network. There might be many servers, but for this demonstration there's just one. And I click on the server and it shows me what's inside the server. Well, there's 3 departments, and I click on legal, and sure enough, here's 3 people's home directories. Other people's home directories show up as these 2 little houses, so I don't get it confused with my own. And I want to go inside Gary's system. If Gary's given me permission, I can see what's on his system. And sure enough, here's those Supreme Court cases. Now, if you noticed what's happened, each time I've clicked something, it's appeared up here. Because now I have a complete record of where I've come from, all the way from my next dimension system, all the way down through the network to the Supreme Court cases. So I never get lost as I traverse a complicated network. I'll show you something else that's pretty amazing. If I'm going to interact with Gary a lot, and we've decided to put some special documents on his system that we're going to share, I simply bring Gary's icon up here, put it anywhere I want, and I can get at it instantly. It's like programming a radio button on your car. The radio station may take a second to find, but once you've found it, you program a button and can get to it instantly. So now, my home directory is automatically put up here. If I want to get back to my home, I just push this button and I'm instantly taken back to my home directory. If I want to get back to Gary, I simply push this button and I'm instantly taken back through that whole path of the network to Gary's system, and here's the file in question. I can even put this file up here if I want, and now I can go between my home directory or anything else that I happen to have programmed and the Supreme Court cases right here. This is an ability of the NeXT computer to allow mere mortals to traverse very sophisticated networks and to share information with each other in a way that is far easier than any other networking software that has been created. And yet, we're still using the industry standard NFS file system. So we're compatible with every workstation in the marketplace. Okay, now Gary then said, after we found these Supreme Court cases, to message the digital librarian. What did he mean? What he meant was that we should go over here to this application called Services, which is a new menu item that appears in every application on our Release 2.0 software. And Services is not owned by the application, it's owned by the operating system. And applications can register themselves as a service and will then show up in every single application, the one shipped on the machine and every third-party application as well. What does this mean? Well, one of the applications that we ship for free with every NeXT computer is our own Digital Librarian application. And Digital Librarian appears as a service, and I go up here and I say, please make whatever I have selected, i.e. the Supreme Court cases, the target. And so these Supreme Court cases are going to be put into the Digital Librarian automatically, and the Digital Librarian has built an index for these cases which will allow me to find anything by keyword. The first thing I'll do is look at how many titles I have. There's 78 different cases here that the Supreme Court has written up in the last 3 years. Well, finding something in that is going to be like a needle in a haystack, and that's where the Digital Librarian comes in. I can say, find me every case that has the word patent in it. And I type in patent and I hit return, and instantly there's 4 cases up here. Well, let's take a look at this one. This is a case, I've looked at it before, Supreme Court case of Eli Lilly versus Medtronic. And I can see the Digital Librarian has found the word patent down here, and this is the minority opinion of the court, Justice Kennedy dissenting. And I can go back over to the Digital Librarian and look at this one here, which is the majority opinion of the court. Here again, it's found the word patent, and I can scroll up to the beginning of the case. This is the same case with Justice Scalia delivering the majority opinion of the court. And again, what I've done here is I've got a message from Gary Moore, who's told me to go use the file viewer, traverse a complicated network that I as a mere mortal can do now that we have the right tools, find something on his system that we're sharing, message it to the Digital Librarian, use the Digital Librarian to find the needle in the haystack, which in this case is the word patent, pull up these 2 cases and find what I'm looking for. I again don't know of any other computer system where this is possible. Let me give you another example of messaging between applications, or as some people call it, inter-application communication. I can take the word infringement here, or any other word I care to select, and go over to the Services menu again and pick up Define in Webster's. So I'll pick Define in Webster's, and that will bring up the digital Webster dictionary that we ship, throw the word infringement into it, and show me the definition as well as the thesaurus. And of course, this happened a lot faster than I could say it. It happened almost instantly. Here's our definition for the word infringement. Let me hide Webster's again. I'll pick another one, opinion. Define in Webster's. Very rapidly, there it is. Having these tools at our disposal is something the computer user has never had before. Another thing I might point out is I'm using many applications here. I'm using Digital Webster's. I've got these file viewers up that came from the Digital Librarian. These came from the file viewer right here. And of course, mail is what started it all when Gary told me to go find some stuff on his system and take a look at it. Okay, let's quit the Digital Librarian here. Let's put Webster's away for now. And let's go ahead and hide my file viewer as well. And get rid of these little windows as well. Okay.